Yeah.
Wow.
So to me, the power, fluctuations in Kampala were really, really a big bother. And what other problem? Luckily, we haven't been having lots of staff turnover. I mean, that can also be bad. But you have to find a way of motivating your staff so they stick with you. Yeah, because it can be very bad when you've trained people and then they are leaving to work for someone else.
Yeah,
who
they're
did not
taking those
invest,
skills.
Yeah. I think generally that's it. Oh, the traffic jam in Kampala.
True.
Yeah, but there's always a solution somehow. Yeah, we've opened several outlets.
Yeah.
5 of them now.
5.
Yes, at different
Okay.
locations in the outskirts. We have one at Kololo, we have one at Nalia to cater for that market. Then we have another at Bonga, so we stop having people coming to the bakery. The bakery in itself is also an outlet, but at least we have a place where people can go to pick up and they don't have to come, at the bakery. Then we have one for Entebbe Road, and then finally Nakulavia. So yeah, 5 outlets. So because of the traffic jam, we were forced. I mean, you end up paying more rent in different places, but at least you're cutting back on the fuel.
Yeah.
And also
And the time.
anxiety with the customers, Someone starts celebrating and their cake is in a car stuck in jam, Yeah, so.
Okay. Like every person, at least so I've been told, in catering or as a baker has had one like disaster story where up to now they're just like, oh my God.
Disaster story.
Have you ever had one where you had
Yes,
to disappoint someone?
Definitely. No, well, at Bake For Me, we never let it get to that point that someone is disappointed and end of story. We'll struggle until we resuscitate the scenario, okay? So what happened? We make an introduction cake for someone that I actually knew from way back, a family friend, now getting married. So we made an introduction cake for her. It was a 4-tier cake. So we gave them the cake, nice and whole, stuck together. We put it at the back of their car, in the boot. It was a 4x4, so it was flat on the floor of the car, okay? In the boot. And we waved bye, we got paid, and we thought everything was okay.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, the client, I think, had to use the boot for something else. So they parked somewhere, picked the cake, and put it in the back seat. So the cake was actually leaning like I am, something like, and yet it was stacked. So they took it home. The function was supposed to happen the following day. So by morning, basically, the cake was bent and then it finally fell down. And I think they were feeling guilty. They didn't call us. But one of their guests, I think, showed up and like, what? Who made this cake? Bake for me. And at that point, it doesn't matter what happened from the time you gave them a nice, beautiful cake to the time that it's on the floor. How did that happen? It doesn't matter. What matters is Bake For Me made the cake. Bake For Me is answerable. So this lady says, put it in my car. Whatever was left of it, she drove it back to the bakery.
Oh no.
So time check, 12 p.m. That's when the in-laws, what they call the wakos in Uganda, are arriving. So the cake is back at the bakery. So I'm looking at it in shock. Okay, I recollected myself very fast. I first asked my team everyone had to stop what they were doing.
To focus on this.
Yes. There were some very special people at the function, some honorables, some, so there had to be a cake somehow. Well, so we froze. Everything had to stop, and then we all started rebuilding this cake. So we did it in a record of about an hour. Gave it to them again, this time with caution. Put it on the floor of the boot. And they drove it back. But actually, what was why do I remember that particular incident is because we had to work while the ladies were watching us.
Oh my God.
Working while the customer is right, it's
Stressful.
yes, they're watching everything. I'm not saying that we do wrong things behind the curtains, but that's why you have hotels. Hotels don't want clients in their kitchens. There's a reason why. You need to be free. You don't want someone breathing down your neck
And focus.
as you're working. And then when you put this, no. Will that look nice? Change.
Oh my Lord.
But anyway, we had it up again, and yeah. But there have been many other incidences. In fact, now we are so used to problem solving. These things happen. Cakes are delicate.
You keep hearing about it.
Yes, they fall, but the most important thing is get up and walk and do something about it.
How quickly do you respond?
Yes, exactly. And it still goes back to the teamwork.
Yeah.
Once someone calls us, this has happened, okay, take a photo. What is damaged? Okay, we start. By the time they're back, we already have the new cake ready and it's ready to go. But obviously, with the experience, the years also come with a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Now we can do 15 wedding cakes on the same day and deliver each of them on time because we know what are the pros and cons. How do you stack it so that you don't have any, we know about the weather. By the way, cold weather can be very bad.
Cold weather?
Yes, it makes the icing get a little softer and
Not the heat?
the heat is the best because it dries them up. Okay, it depends on what cake it is.
Okay.
Then there are the buttercream. Oh, Jesus.
Every baker says buttercream is stressful.
Buttercream plus border deliveries. Oh, those are countless. I don't even have to go into those. Those are countless. Actually, the only difference now is what kind of client are you dealing with? There are people who are so calm. As long as it's here for my daughter to cut at 5, do your thing. So you turn back with a smudged cake and go and do and bring it back, and it's all good. Then there's someone who will call you so many times. Why? Hurry up. And yet she probably is the reason the cake got damaged. So, that I can't even talk about those. Everyone has...
Well, I think you learn a lot about managing customers as well.
Yes, true.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Expectations.
Actually, I think that is, to me, it's more difficult to manage customers than to handle all these electricity and jam problems. Yeah. Some customers are really difficult, and even after managing an order, you've gone through whatever, fine, she has taken it and pukes, and then she comes back. Oh, despite the headache that she claims you gave her, okay? But I keep telling them, we gain nothing by making you unhappy. Because when you're unhappy, I cannot be happy. We've had people who've actually broken down and cried. But sometimes it's just that she has been through so much.
Yes.
In fact, there are some people who really should be seeking the services of event planners.
That's
because
I
they
think,
don't
because
have the
all
nerve.
that management, it's stressful.
So when she finally gets to the point of picking her cake, and she probably told you that, oh, my daughter is 9. I'll tell you that my daughter is 9 today. But on the 23rd, she's going to be 10. So when I call you today and I'm ordering 4, the cake, how old is your daughter? I can see a number on the cake, and you'll automatically say 9. I'll say 9 because she's 9 today.
Oh,
And yet
yes.
in a week's time,
She's
2
turning
weeks, she's
10.
turning 10. So that number 9 alone can make someone burst into tears. And then it makes you look so bad. How could you make a grown woman who has been through labor and all sorts of hardships cry? But again, people are different. Someone will cry over something very tiny, and then someone will cry over something big.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we strive to make sure that everyone's happy. So despite the tears, then she could show up again. Okay, she's back, and this time you need to be okay, attentive. Okay, now it's a boy. So how old is he? Is he turning 10 or 9? You know, and you need to be more careful. And
You need to be very careful with the details.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
Then there are the color schemes, and then someone has napkins laid out, they are maroon, the cake is red, and even that ticks her off. But she asked you for Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse wears red, really, most of the, or let's say Minnie.
Minnie Mouse.
Minnie Mouse will wear pink and white. So much as your layout is maroon,
But I think that's why a lot of bakers now want to even see the table.
yes,
Like, you know, and they would organize the whole table.
Yes, yes. So someone, I mean, I'll give you an example. There are characters that are standard. Spider-Man will always be blue and red. And then someone will tell you that their color theme is purple. So how is that going to be Spider-Man anymore if the cake has to be like the colors of the party? So, you know, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, okay?
Yes.
Some we win, some we lose. You know, the cake could show up and really it's not purple because Spider-Man is red and blue, and then someone just won't get it. They're angry. We can suggest options if we still have the time to do it, but well, yeah, so if
Managing
you can let us-
expectations is the
Exactly.
hardest thing.
Yes, but I know every baker goes through that, but eventually you come out and you find you strike a balance somehow. If the customer can let you, I mean, we always go back and reduce stuff, and we won't even ask for any more money, even if the mistake came from the client. We won't. We go, we do, we spend on transport. This time to the person's home. I mean, you get lost with the pin drops, and you know. But yeah,
That's
a
true,
job.
by the way.
There's something about pins in Uganda. That's how I
I
won't
don't
really get
understand it, by the way.
I won't get you to the.
They'll be on
exact-
the other side of the. There's like another road and another building, and they're there.
Exactly.
Like, but how?
Yeah.
Previously on Crystal One-on-One.
Again, it's because I had so much to prove and to myself.
Yeah.
Always been a quick learner, but I now needed to prove it. It was so important, and so
And also to yourself, because of where you come, you quit, you try to do something that failed. Yeah.
all of that. So, and I really wanted to show that you can be a business person, but not that very kind. You can also be a business person who can apply yourself academically and succeed.
And they're there.
Exactly.
Like, but how?
Yeah.
So you're always trying to improve your business and improve your skills, clearly.
Yes, yes.
So you mentioned that you started something new. Is it
Teaching.
Is it teaching? Yes.
Yes. And actually, one thing that this COVID pandemic has taught most people is that it's not very wise to have one source of income. It's not it's not wise at all, because you never know. Life
Anything can
can
happen.
swing you either way. Yeah. So yeah, the baking business, the bakery has since given birth to a farm. We have a farm. We produce our own eggs.
Okay.
Because the demand was our demand was a bit too high, and at
It was
times
very
you don't
high.
find other people very reliable. And then we also own a school now, so we teach. My belief is there's a lot of room under the sky for everyone. Some people tend to think that, oh, you should keep what you know to yourself, but you're not born with that knowledge.
Yeah.
You're also watching YouTube channels, you're watching Instagram videos, you know, and you also learn from others. So there's no harm. Once people keep asking, when are you start? When are you? Can you start teaching people how to bake? We're interested. We have daughters who would like. Now there are some that are not getting that at school, and the mother also can't really do it for them. So you know, so it also started. It was kind of like a calling, yeah. Because I toyed with it for maybe 8 years or so, from when the first person asked if I could teach them. And finally, timing was right. We got a big premises in Bunga, on the main road, and yeah, voila. I think it's been operational since Jan 2020. No, 2019.
Okay, so it's like a year and a more than a year and a half
more than
now.
yes, but we've churned out over 250
Okay.
bakers. Some have actually started their businesses, especially outside Kampala. I mean, it's an advantage when you're starting in a place that doesn't have so much competition. Yeah, so it's a good thing.
Okay, so when you look back, what are you most proud of? What would you say maybe is the one thing that you have learned on your journey
On
that
my
you
journey.
can share?
Baking in particular, or my life journey?
Just your life journey.
Um,
And maybe what you've learned about yourself.
Yeah, maybe about myself. I find it very hard, naturally, to be pushed around by anyone.
That's a good thing.
Yes. So I and at times you have to be intentional to let clients push you around, because that's what works for them. They'll feel happier if you're a yes person. But there are moments where I've failed to come down to that level where, oh yeah, you are king or queen. Okay? Maybe they were wrong, maybe I was right, but at times it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, what I've learned is we need to choose the peaceful way out of situations like this, where you're going to have, yeah, maybe an exchange is overrated, but where you all walk away unhappy. So I am working on that, you know. Obviously, it's easier when I don't have to deal with the clients anymore. Yeah, but and in this era where social media can easily break you.
Yes.
I mean, there've been most businesses. If you're a big brand, you've had a chunk of that maybe here and there. And then sometimes what people want to see you type is, oh, I'm so sorry, I was wrong. And yet you know deep inside you're not wrong. You know, like the scenario I've been sharing, someone wants purple Spider-Man, or make the cake purple at whatever cost.
And then when they see they're not happy.
You know, but so over and above you're not wrong and you're sure. You know, your conscience will tell you when you're wrong. I know I've been wrong. I'm not perfect. So I know there are times that I've been wrong and I'm honestly wrong, but there are times that you're not wrong. In fact, that's the problem with social media. When people start hurling the stones,
Yeah, they pick a fight and they just...
they'll, you know.
It's like people ganging up on you essentially, really. But it's just online.
Yes, but some people have mastered the art. So that's what I'm working on, to get to that point where you can say you're wrong and yet you're not, just to make them happy. So it's a bit of a, because as a Christian, why should I lie? I'm not wrong. But again, you have to handle the social media, you know? So it's,
I think what you said that, you know, you look for the most peaceful resolution.
yes.
I think that's what we should all
Sometimes
strive
even
for.
saying nothing is enough. Because luckily we don't have those battles anymore, much anymore really. If they're there, they're really insignificant. But there are scenarios where we've kept quiet. You watch someone, they came, picked up a cake, paid for it, went home. And then they get on their gadgets and start writing about it for everyone to see. So sometimes we've kept quiet. And actually those who've been happy with us have come to our rescue.
Yes.
You know? So at times, and like I keep saying, God also has his ways, you know? Because today you might be in the hot soup, and then tomorrow, without prompting it, someone will come and post something so nice that you've done for them. So it kind of evens out. So whoever was, yes, they're horrible, you know, they have nothing to say. I haven't paid anyone to do it, you know, there are these random messages that are coming in, yeah. But generally, as businesses grow, there's so much that you have to learn. Social media is a very, very important aspect of a business today. Yeah, in this century, really, you don't want to end up like one of these phones that we no longer see, brands, Nokia,
Yes.
and you know.
You're like, what happened?
What happened? There was no Samsung before, there was no Apple, then what happened to you? You had all the green lights for you, you know? So you have to embrace it, you know, go with the flow. It will have it has its ups and downs, but they're mostly ups in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Brenda, for sharing your journey. But you didn't tell me the last thing I asked you. Like, what's the one thing that you have learned building your business? Like your little...
Oh,
Yes.
resilience.
Resilience.
Resilience. Business is generally not for the faint-hearted. I'm not discouraging anyone,
Yeah.
but you'll be very lucky if you sail through without putting up a fight. Okay? So resilience. Resilience. And also being ready for anything, anytime. How would you term that? To be ready for anything, anytime. Like right now, we are seated in this interview. The next phone call that I get could be telling me that my driver smashed one of the, okay, maybe a border rider smashed into one of the vans. So keep calm, take some water if you have it. Expect the shockers anytime. Because when you're managing people, these things have to happen.
Okay.
You know? So, how would we term that? I think you need to be calm all the time.
Yeah. You just
Yeah.
need to take in whatever comes.
And take each day at a time. Some days will be nice, some days might not be very good. But just know that the nice days will eventually overshadow the bad days. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Lovely catching up with you.
Oh, thank you, Crystal. It was nice catching up with you as well.